One shocking second, when Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan froze a press conference and the internet in time. In the world of celebrity press conferences, everything is choreographed. Every smile is rehearsed, every answer carefully shaped, every movement calculated to the millimeter. Nothing is supposed to go wrong. Nothing is supposed to feel too real. And yet, there was 1 second. Just one. A single, unguarded moment between Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan that cracked through years of polish and restraint, leaving fans breathless and the internet spiraling. A second so brief it could have been missed, yet so powerful it refuses to be forgotten. This is the story of that second. The room before the shock. The press conference hall was exactly what you'd expect. Sharp lighting, endless camera lenses, journalists lined up like chess pieces, waiting to strike. The air hummed with anticipation, not excitement, but professional tension. This was business. Promotion. Image management. Wang Yibo sat composed, posture straight, expression unreadable.
Cool.
Controlled. Every inch the star known for discipline and restraint. Xiao Zhan, seated nearby, wore his familiar calm smile, warm, polite, perfectly media-trained. He greeted questions with grace, his voice steady, his manner flawless. Everything was going according to plan. Too perfectly. The question that changed the atmosphere. Then came a question. Not controversial. Not provocative. Just unexpected. It was the kind of question meant to fill time, to prompt a light answer and a safe laugh. The moderator barely paused before passing the mic. Xiao Zhan answered first, smoothly, effortlessly, like someone who had done this 1,000 times. The room relaxed. Pens moved. Cameras clicked. Then all eyes shifted to Wang Yibo. And that's when it happened. 1 second. No script. As Wang Yibo turned to respond, Xiao Zhan glanced sideways, perhaps out of habit, perhaps instinct. At the exact same moment, Wang Yibo looked up. Their eyes met. Not dramatically. Not intentionally. Just met. But something in that second felt wrong. Or rather, too right. Wang Yibo's expression changed first. Just slightly. A flicker, surprise? Recognition? Something unguarded flashing across his face before he could stop it. Xiao Zhan froze. Not fully. Just enough. That gentle smile he wore didn't disappear. But it shifted.
Softened.
Faltered. As if he'd been caught off balance by something only he could see. The room didn't notice. The cameras did. The silence that followed. It lasted less than a second. But silence expanded around it. Wang Yibo hesitated before answering. A beat too long. The kind of pause professionals are trained never to make. His jaw tightened. He blinked once, sharp, deliberate, as if resetting himself. Xiao Zhan looked away first. And in that movement, quick, controlled, almost careful, fans later swore they saw it, a quiet effort to regain composure. The answer came. Polite. Neutral.
Perfect.
But the damage was done. Why that second felt like an earthquake. To casual viewers it was nothing. To fans it was everything. Because in that 1 second, something slipped through the cracks, something raw, unfiltered, human. It didn't look like acting. It didn't feel like performance. It felt like history colliding with the present. Fans replayed the clip frame by frame, slowing it down, zooming in, analyzing micro-expressions like forensic experts. That look wasn't planned. He forgot where he was. Why did Xiao Zhan look away like that? Theories exploded. Screenshots flooded timelines. That single second became the most dissected moment of the entire event. Body language never lies, or so fans say. What made the moment truly shocking wasn't just the eye contact. It was what came after. Wang Yibo shifted in his seat. Subtle. Almost imperceptible. His usually relaxed posture stiffened, shoulders drawing back, as if rebuilding armor. Xiao Zhan clasped his hands together, something he hadn't done before that moment. His smile returned, but fans noticed it didn't quite reach his eyes. They didn't look at each other again for a while. And that avoidance spoke louder than any interaction. The cameras caught what words couldn't. Press conferences are cruel that way. They don't just record what you say, they capture what you don't mean to show. One camera angle showed Wang Yibo glancing in Xiao Zhan's direction again, then stopping himself halfway. Another caught Xiao Zhan exhaling slowly, as if studying his breath. No dialogue. No explanation. Just fragments of emotion stitched together by sharp-eyed viewers who knew these two far too well. The internet reacts, shockwaves begin. Within minutes, clips circulated online. Within hours, it was everywhere. Hashtags climbed. Fan forums exploded. Entire essays were written about that single second, what it meant, why it mattered, whether it was accidental or unavoidable. Some called it coincidence. Others called it instinct. Many called it dangerous, not in a scandalous way, but in a human one. Because it reminded people that no matter how controlled the image, some connections don't disappear quietly. What made it so unforgettable? The shock wasn't about romance. It wasn't about rumors. It wasn't about speculation. It was about authenticity. In an industry built on perfect timing and flawless delivery, that second stood out because it wasn't perfect. It was messy, fleeting, emotionally charged, and real. Fans didn't see two stars that second. They saw two people. And that's far more unsettling. After the moment, back to normal, or so it seemed. The press conference continued. Questions were answered. Smiles were exchanged. Applause followed. To the outside world, nothing had happened. But fans noticed how carefully distance was maintained afterward. How interactions were minimized. How professionalism returned like a carefully rebuilt wall. As if that 1 second had been a crack, and everyone was determined to seal it shut. Why 1 second can last forever? Moments don't need length to leave impact. Sometimes, the briefest instances carve the deepest impressions. That shocking second between Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan wasn't loud. It didn't demand attention. It simply existed, and in doing so, reminded everyone that even the most controlled narratives can slip for a heartbeat. Fans still talk about it, still replay it, still feel that strange tightening in the chest when they watch it again. Because that second didn't feel like a scene. It felt like a memory. And memories, especially the unplanned ones, never really fade. 1 second, 2 glances, a lifetime of questions, and a press conference the world will never quite watch the same way again. Before that shocking second ever existed, the room itself felt like a sealed container, airtight, polished, controlled to perfection. This was the kind of press conference where nothing unexpected was supposed to happen. Every detail had been rehearsed long before the first camera lens opened. Seating positions measured, lighting tested, questions filtered. Even silence had a schedule. Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan walked into that space, carrying years of experience on their shoulders. The hall shimmered with white lights reflecting off glossy floors. Rows of journalists sat poised, fingers hovering over recorders and keyboards, eyes sharp with expectation. The low murmur of whispers rippled through the room like static electricity, quiet but alive. Wang Yibo took his seat with precise calm. His movements were economical, disciplined, almost architectural. He sat straight-backed, hands resting lightly, gaze forward. This was familiar territory for him. He had mastered stillness the way others mastered performance. Nothing about his expression invited intrusion. He looked like someone who had learned how to keep his inner world locked behind steel doors. Xiao Zhan arrived moments later, and the atmosphere softened, just a little. He acknowledged the room with a gentle nod and that signature smile. Warm, practiced, effortlessly reassuring. It was the kind of smile that made people feel comfortable without revealing too much in return. He sat with relaxed elegance, shoulders easy, posture open. Where Wang Yibo's presence felt cool and sharp, Xiao Zhan's felt like quiet warmth. Together, they formed a contrast so balanced it almost felt deliberate. Almost. The moderator spoke, welcoming everyone. Cameras clicked in rhythmic bursts. The sound was constant, like rain tapping against glass. Questions began, safe ones first. Projects. Gratitude. Future plans. Each answer landed exactly where it was supposed to. Wang Yibo responded with concise precision. No extra words. No wasted emotion. His voice was calm, low, unwavering. Every answer felt measured, as if weighed carefully before being released into the room. Xiao Zhan followed with graceful ease. His responses flowed naturally, his tone sincere, expressive without oversharing. He made eye contact with journalists, nodded thoughtfully, smiled at the right moments. To anyone watching casually, it was flawless. But beneath the surface, something subtle was already forming. Between questions, when the moderator shuffled papers or adjusted the microphone, there were pauses, tiny pockets of unscripted time. In those spaces, Wang Yibo's gaze sometimes drifted unfocused, before snapping back into place. Xiao Zhan would inhale slowly, then exhale, grounding himself. They weren't interacting. Not directly. Yet the awareness was there. Fans later described it as shared gravity, two separate stars pulling against the same invisible force. They occupied the same room, the same moment, the same past, and the tension of that coexistence hung quietly between them. No one in the room acknowledged it. But cameras don't miss what humans overlook. One lens caught Wang Yibo adjusting his cuff, an unnecessary movement, subtle but telling. Another caught Xiao Zhan's fingers tapping lightly against his knee before he stilled them. Professionals don't fidget, unless something disrupts their balance. As the press conference progressed, the atmosphere grew denser, not louder, but heavier. The questions edged closer to personal territory, though still safely framed. The audience leaned in, sensing something intangible shifting, even if they couldn't name it. Wang Yibo remained composed, but his stillness felt sharper now, more deliberate, like someone holding their breath underwater. Xiao Zhan's smile never left, but it softened around the edges, as if he were conserving energy, preparing for something he didn't consciously expect. And then, right before that question, the room reached a strange equilibrium. The lights hummed. The air felt suspended. Even the clicking of cameras seemed to slow, as if the space itself hesitated. This was the calm before impact. Neither of them knew what was coming. There was no signal, no warning glance, no conscious preparation. Just two people sharing a room designed to prevent exactly what was about to happen, an unscripted moment. In retrospect, fans would say the signs were all there. The way Wang Yibo's jaw tightened slightly between answers. The way Xiao Zhan's breath deepened, grounding but cautious. The way neither of them shifted closer, yet didn't lean away either. They were maintaining distance. And sometimes, distance holds more tension than proximity ever could. When the moderator lifted their head to ask the next question, the room was silent in anticipation. Pens paused midair. Cameras steadied. Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan sat side by side, perfectly composed, perfectly professional, two stars in complete control. Or so it seemed. Because in just a moment, all of that control would fracture for one unforgettable second. And the room, so carefully constructed, would never feel the same again.